All right, what is up, Utah fans? This is Joseph back with the Utah Utes Football Digest, and it has been no mystery that Utah has had an injury plagued season so far. It has been a rough go. The good news is we just had a bye week to rest up a lot of guys. So it's basically been, 2 weeks since we last saw the team when they hit the field this weekend to play Cal. So it's a really good sign. And today we're going to talk about is just who are the most likely guys to come back against Cal, who are the most likely guys we're going to see. A ton of news and a lot going on. Who should be rested up, who should be out there when we play Cal that we, have seen miss some time or haven't seen at all this year. So I'm excited to talk about it, guys. Before we dive in, please make sure you like the video. Also, comment down below. Who do you think we see? Is there anyone I mentioned that you think we do or do not see? I'd love to hear your opinion. Also, please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. If you guys love Utah Utes football, we put out a ton of Utah Utes football content, so make sure you're along for the ride. Also, please make sure you share the video, share it with a friend, share it on Facebook, retweet it, whatever. Just share it with someone. On that note, let's go ahead and dive in. Let's talk about the players returning when we play Cal. All right, and the first thing I want to do before we dive into the guys that I do believe we will see are talk about the guys that are basically a guarantee that we will not see. So, first off, Mekhi Bernard, just in case you weren't aware, he is out for the season. We will not see Mekhi Bernard for the rest of the year. The other guy, if you guys have not been following the report, Logan Fano, who has been killing it this year for Utah, got injured in the Oregon State game and will be out for the rest of the season. Sad to see him go down, but best of luck to the guy. In his future at Utah does look really bright, but he will not be in for the rest of this year. He is out for the season. The other guy that I think we will not see, he does not have an out for the season designation, but it is Brant Keithy. There hasn't even really been any reports about him coming to practice or anything like that. So I really doubt we see Brant Keithy in the game. I'm going to go ahead and rule him out. So those are the guys I feel like very unlikely. Two of them are for sure out, and I just wanted to give you guys an update on those two. But then also Brant Keithy, I'd say, is basically a scratch for this game. I really would be shocked if we see him. All right, and this next guy is the guy that everyone's always wanting to find out about. It's Cam Rising. Cam Rising is a stud for Utah. You know, the past 2 years, he's been a monster. 3,000 plus passing yards last year, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. The guy's a rock star. After the article, if you haven't watched the video I posted yesterday about Cam Rising's return update, please go give that a watch before you continue this video, then jump back to this one. That article gave me a lot of optimism about when Cam Rising's coming back. Now, I know everybody didn't read it the same way, and there's definitely more than I can ever remember conflicting opinions between the Utah fan base, where some of us have an opinion that this recent information means Cam is coming back very soon, and others have an opinion that the recent information means Cam absolutely is not coming back soon. Really weird time to be a Utah fan. Definitely a split. But I'm going to go ahead after, like I said, watch the video if you haven't already. But against Cal, I'm actually going to give it a 50% chance that we do see Cam against Cal. That's actually pretty dang high. Honestly, I'd say I would be just as surprised not to see him as I would be to see him. I'm like completely split on this after those reports. Maybe I'd say 45% Cam's in and a tiny lean that he's not in. You can describe it that way, but I think we got a shot to see Cam in. So we may see Cam Rising back for Utah. That'd be a huge deal and do a lot to get this offense going. All right, now let's talk about the guys that I feel pretty strongly we will see them back in the Cal game. And I think, especially if for some reason Cam is going to miss another week, I do believe if he misses this week, there's a really high chance we're going to see him against USC. But if he does miss this week, we're going to need some firepower in there. We're going to need a good core group of guys to just kind of get over this hump, get the win, be 5-1. So the first guy is going to be Connor O'Toole. So Connor O'Toole was a pretty awesome player for Utah. It's going to be he'll bring a lot, especially with Logan Fano being out for the season. We could use another defensive end alongside Jonah Ellis to, help cause some pressure, help bolster this defensive line. So Connor O'Toole last year, 41 tackles, 1.5 sacks, one pass defense, and a fumble recovery. And then he only graded out at a 64.2 according to PFF. But on that 64.2 grade, the last 3 games of the season, he had a 71.9 grade against Colorado. And, Colorado's not a great team, so it is what it is, but a 66.1 grade against USC, which actually had a pretty dang high powered offense. And this was in the conference championship game. And then against Penn State in the Rose Bowl, he graded out at a 72.2, which, Penn State's a great team and they have a good offensive line. And his pass rushing grade there was a 79.4. So getting Connor O'Toole back will be a big deal, especially with the Logan Fano injury. And I would say, like I mentioned, really good chance we get Connor O'Toole back. All right, and the next guy I want to talk about is Jaquindon Jackson. He's had a few weeks to heal. I'd be really surprised if he's not back after the bye. And this guy will probably be the most impactful player the Utah Utes could get back. So you take a look at Jaquindon Jackson. Last year in 2022, on 142 snaps as a running back, he had a 91.7 grade. His stats were ridiculous last year. On just 78 carries, Jaquindon Jackson was able to get 531 yards, which is 6.8 yards a carry, and that's 9 touchdowns off those 78 carries. So he was averaging more than 1 touchdown per 10 carries last year. Jaquindon Jackson looked special last year and followed it up even with injuries with an awesome start to this year. He was grading out at an 80.5 and still looked solid on the year, rock solid, I'd say. He looked like a star on the year. You take a look at how he looked to start this year. 39 carries, 239 yards, 6.1 yards per carry, no touchdowns for this year, but a bunch of breakaway runs. And I'm guessing the injuries were hindering his breakaway speed a little. Hopefully he comes back and looks awesome, after recovering from his ankle situation. If you guys aren't aware, Jaquindon Jackson's huge for this. If he's back, it does so much for this offense, even without Cam. He is a guy that can make explosive plays pretty consistently against stacked boxes. Jalen Glover's awesome. I'm a big Jalen Glover fan. I think he's not at the level Jaquindon Jackson is right now. And I think Jaquindon Jackson brings an explosiveness and a playmaking ability that we just don't have in the running back room right now. So getting him back would be a huge deal for this Utah offense. It'd be a big one. So hopefully we have Jaquindon Jackson back. And I'd say pretty confidently we should. All right, we got a few more guys to go through here before we get out of here. One big one is Micah Pittman. He's had a slow start to the year, but it's been with some pretty poor quarterback play. So I wouldn't be shocked to see him back. He's been out for a few weeks now. So if he does get in, that would help the quarterbacks, whether it's Cam Rising or a different quarterback. Mekhi Pittman, I would say, though, didn't look great. The PFF grades didn't look great to start the year, and the eye test didn't either. So hopefully he gets back out there, looks good. Another guy is Munir McClain, a wide receiver. He played in the Weber State game and looked awesome. 3 catches for like 90-something yards. PFF grade of the high 80s, looked awesome. I know it's against Weber State, but with how this wide receiver room has looked recently, I would love to get him back. I think we should see him back, after a couple weeks of rest. Charlie Vincent is another guy, actually a pretty important guy to get back on the field. If for some reason Jaquindon Jackson is not back, Charlie Vincent's a solid, capable change of pace back to give Jalen Glover a little bit of rest. If he's not in and Jaquindon Jackson's not in, well, that could be a good thing at the end of the day, and we could see some of the young, talented 4-star running backs we have get in there and get some playing time. Another guy is Brandon Rose. Brandon Rose has confirmed that he's back. He could be the backup. I think Kyle Whittingham was just saying that he's been out 6 to 7 weeks. So there's a lot to catch up on, a lot to learn. Bryson Barnes is on here as well. I don't believe it's been confirmed. If you guys know, drop it in the chat. I'd say there's a chance Bryson Barnes is in here, but I don't think it's a big deal if he's not. So especially if he is concerned at all about the injury, hopefully he just sits out. That's not a huge deal. I would not that we don't want him out there, but it's like, hey, if you're not healthy, we got Nate Johnson and Brandon Rose, and hopefully Cam Rising. So take all the time you need. But outside of that, I think that's basically all the injuries on the season so far. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop it a like. Also, comment down below, who do you guys think is in and isn't in? Do you agree with my takes? Subscribe to the channel. We put out a ton of Utah Utes football content, so make sure you guys stay along for the ride. And make sure you guys share the video with someone, whether it's a friend or you share it on a Facebook page that you like to go to for Utah football, or just retweet it. Whatever, it all helps, and we appreciate it a lot. I'm out of here. Go Utes.